In 2026, Ethiopia continues to have a regime of increased control in Oromo regions, where security forces focus on finding supporters of opposition groups. In practice, this means people are often suspected not for specific actions, but because of family ties or previous detentions. We see that surveillance mechanisms are becoming more high-tech, which seriously changes the situation for those seeking protection abroad. In this episode, we will analyze the situation using the example of a young man whose family faced arrests on suspicion of supporting the OLA. How do the FADA biometric systems work at the borders today? Why does the arrest of a brother or mother in Ethiopia automatically make a safe return impossible for other family members? And the most important question for the legal process: are there any regions in Ethiopia in 2026 where a person can hide from persecution if they are already in the security services databases? I base these videos on real cases of people facing persecution in their home countries. We are country witness experts from London, focusing on human rights violations. Today's episode is about a real case we received from a London law firm and prepared by our lead Ethiopia expert. They need objective evidence about the situation in the applicant's country. Our job is to do deep research and prepare a country expert report. This report identifies the real risks if the person returns home. It helps the court understand why the person needs international protection. If you are going through the asylum process in the UK, the US, Canada, or Europe, and are looking for a country witness expert, you can find a wide network of highly qualified experts at the Human Rights Experts. The link is in the description. The current situation in Ethiopia, especially in the Oromo regions, is characterized by the systematic use of anti-terrorism laws to suppress political dissent. According to Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, security forces often do not distinguish between OLA rebels and civilians who are connected to them only by ethnic origin or kinship. Reports document many cases of mass extrajudicial detentions and holding people in unofficial prisons, where physical and psychological pressure is used to get confessions of loyalty to the opposition. A key tool of control in 2026 is the expanded digital infrastructure, including the National Biometric ID System, FIDA. As experts on East Africa note, this system is integrated with border control and federal police databases. This allows security forces to instantly identify people who were previously detained or are on suspicious lists. This technology, combined with strict control at checkpoints, takes away the possibility of moving anonymously and makes hidden internal relocation impossible. Human rights defenders, including UN committees, are especially concerned about the practice of collective punishment. It is documented that if the authorities cannot arrest a specific person, they arrest their relatives, mothers, brothers, or spouses to force a surrender or as a preventive measure. In conditions where court release orders are often ignored by the police and access to lawyers is limited, such families find themselves in a legal vacuum. This confirms the critical level of risk for anyone returning from the diaspora whose relatives have already faced repression. The mechanism of political persecution is clearly seen in the case of our client, a young Oromo man. His ethnicity and suspicion of ties to the OLA led to him being detained and tortured by security forces. When he managed to leave, the pressure did not stop but moved to his loved ones. The applicant's mother and brother were arrested on the same charges of supporting the opposition. Now the family is officially under surveillance, which makes the client's case not just an individual story, but part of a system of collective punishment, where family ties become proof of guilt. The situation is complicated by the fact that in Ethiopia in 2026, there are no protection mechanisms against arbitrary actions. We recorded in the report that in the Oromo regions, courts have almost no power over the police. Release orders are ignored, and lawyers are not allowed to see detainees in unofficial prisons. For our client, this means there is no safe place inside the country. The FIDA biometric system and strict control through local administrations, kabelis, make any attempt to hide useless. Any document check when moving to another region will inevitably lead to the identification of his family and a new arrest. But before concluding, let me introduce myself. My name is Maxim. I am a country witness expert specializing in human rights violations. I personally also receive political asylum. I am the founder of the Human Rights Experts. Since March 2022, we, a team composed of over 20 experts, have been creating expert reports for asylum applicants. Our expertise covers all key regions of the world, including Africa, Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Our expert reports, similar to the one we discussed today, are regularly commissioned by major law firms to help the court and authorities explain the specific country context of human rights violations in the applicant's country of origin, who are applying for asylum in the US, UK, Canada, and EU countries. If you're in the process of seeking asylum, remember, objective evidence confirming the risk of persecution is critically important for your case. Hire an expert witness via the link in the description below. To summarize, the threat to our applicant is absolutely real. We see how the state machine uses the arrests of relatives to put pressure on a person. In this case, everything is violated, from the right to personal safety to the protection of the family. At the same time, Ethiopian courts are powerless. The police simply ignore their decisions, and lawyers are not allowed into the prisons. It is impossible to hide inside the country. The FADA, biometric ID, and control at local administrations make moving anonymously impossible. Any document check in another city will immediately highlight the history of his detentions and the arrests of his relatives. For the applicant, returning home is a guaranteed path to a jail cell. It is exactly these facts in the expert report that decide the fate of an asylum case. This was Maxim Karitonov. See you in the next episode.